तो आप हमें बता सकते हैं कि जो बलात्कार हो रही हैं इसको हम कैसे रोक सकते हैं? आप हमें अपनी राय दे सकते हैं श्रोताओं की जो आग लग रही है दोष किसका है, किसको हम दोष दे सकते हैं, इस पर हम किसको दोष दें, ड्राइवर्स को या फिर पुलिस को? नमस्ते फीजी, देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2 पर मैं मोहिनी। हमारे साथ में शामिल हो जाइएगा दृष्टिकोण प्रोग्राम में हर सोमवार से शुक्रवार तक रात 7 से 8 बजे तक दृष्टिकोण प्रोग्राम में।
In this bulletin, prolonged dry spell prompts warning from authorities of potential El Nino. Pre-polling to start next week and will carry on for 2 weeks. And one Fiji party wants complete overhaul of education system. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The public is warned that if the current dry weather continues, the country could face a drought driven by the potential of El Nino. Authorities this afternoon held a joint media conference asking the public to manage water and power usage wisely. Fiji Electricity Authority CEO Hasmukh Patel says contingency measures are in place to ensure that Monosavu Dam remains functioning.
Right now, as I speak, our ratio of generation between renewable to fuel is almost 30-70. That means we are generating 30% of Vitilevu's electricity requirements using hydro, and 70% of it is almost coming out using fossil fuel.
Water Authority CEO Opetai Ravai stressed the need for people to conserve water now.
Perhaps what happened back in 1998 when there were strict regulations on the usage of water. So those provisions are there in the Water Authority promulgation, which can be enforced by the minister at that stage, like I said. Right now, we're just creating that awareness for conservation, using water wisely.
Meanwhile, the ministry is cutting water to certain areas.
Places, rural areas, they rely on bore water wells. If I can give an example, like in Rabuni and Bule and Kandavu, twice now we had to cut water across to them because they rely on bore water wells. They just dried up. We've just sent 2 boats across. One, I believe, was last month, and one again recently on Monday afternoon. Okay, we'll be doing the same to Yasawa on the weekend.
In the coming months, rainfall in Fiji is predicted to be average to below average. The Electoral Commission has announced that pre-polling voting will begin next week, starting next week Wednesday, the 3rd of September, and running until Election Day. With more than 500 pre-polling locations, some political parties are concerned voters will miss out because they are unaware of pre-polling in their areas. Maggie Boyle reports.
Political parties are up in arms over the notification that pre-polling will start next week across the country.
The bigger concern is the fact that people living in these areas have absolutely no knowledge of the fact that these elections would be held well before the 17th of September.
We urge them to consider these pre-polling dates. I mean, some of it is unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary.
Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says he has yet to receive any formal complaints from political parties on the pre-polls.
I assure you that pre-polling is being conducted in areas that are remote and in areas where it would not be very easily accessible come election day.
Prasad adds that the pre-polls are unfair, with political parties now in the throes of campaigning.
Not discussed with the political parties. And the election pre-polling will start on September 3rd, so it actually cuts down the number of days that candidates will have to actually campaign and give out their numbers.
PDP's Felix Anthony has also argued that the disciplined forces are being singled out and the secrecy of their vote in doubt with pre-poll voting at their place of work.
Votes after they are cast, they will go inside a secret envelope, and then the secret envelope will be put inside the ballot box. On 17th of September, that's when we will start opening the ballot box for counting of pre-poll votes. No votes will be counted before 17th of September.
Pre-poll voting is scheduled to begin on Wednesday, a week from today. This is going to be conducted in schools, government stations, village and community halls across the country at various times until the end of elections on the 17th of September. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The One Fiji Party wants a complete overhaul of the education system. This is the focus of the first phase of the party's manifesto, which was launched this afternoon. Chanel Sivan with the details.
The policy is called Education for Life and focuses on customizing the education sector in Fiji. Some of the promises include reintroduction of external examinations, permit schools to raise additional funds, and reviewing teachers' salary.
We're looking to improving the education system, and that means we have to start from the very lower rung, which is at the kindergarten level, up to the tertiary level.
The party also promises to register and regulate student boarding houses near tertiary campuses.
We want all the PRB flats in Rewanga, Rewai and these areas to be converted into students' accommodation, and for those who we will not be able to cater, we will regulate all the housing. Like in USP area, if you just go to Burerewa Street, there are hundreds of girls or boys there renting there, and people are getting thousands of dollars in rent, but they're not paying tax. So we will regulate this housing.
Interestingly, they promised not to continue with the free bus fare scheme of the Bainimarama government in few years' time, saying parents need to learn how funds are managed.
Free bus fare for the meantime, yes, we would continue. But then we would later like to work hand in hand because of a lot of things that needs to be solved at the education level.
Wouldn't that be a downfall for your party? For your government?
For not issuing free bus fares? I don't think so. So what we're teaching parents is that they learn to fend for themselves too.
It also promises to zero-rate tax on additional material, including books and computers.
There's no duty on computers at the moment.
At the moment, yeah, but we're looking to that. Zero tax rate on all educational material, including textbooks and computers for full-time students.
Already zero tax rate at the moment.
All right, okay. So we will continue with that. We will continue with that.
The party will reveal more policies under its manifesto in Nasino tomorrow. This will be done over the next 7 days. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
A businessman accused of importing 5.4 kilograms of pseudoephedrine has been granted bail by the Nandi Magistrates Court this afternoon. The man's lawyer, Kitione Vuotaki, applied for bail, saying his client has ongoing investments, a resort development in the Yasawas and a diesel refinery project worth $5 million. Magistrate Muhammad Azhar granted the man strict bail conditions and also ordered that his name be suppressed in the media until his next court appearance. He is charged with the count of importation of a controlled chemical. The case has been transferred to the Lautoka High Court for mention on September 10th. The businessman had a parcel sent from Ukraine which contained the drug. The annual conference of the Methodist Church in Fiji discussed a number of important issues this week. Among them was the need for the church to improve its relationship with the state, as well as a huge emphasis on education. Savara Tamboa has more.
Repairing of relationships at all levels is part of the new direction that the church is taking.
Our church relationship is very important. Church relationship in terms of church and state relationship. We want to improve that as we go to this new direction the next 50 years. Are working together with the current regime. Whatever regime that will lead this country, we will be working closely together for the benefit of us all.
Education, which has been a hallmark of the Methodist Church dating back to the 1830s, will get a stronger backing. Newly elected General Secretary, Reverend Dr. Pineri Bagandeobosa says a joint board of Methodist education has been elected and delegates have supported the initiative.
The board will look after how our education system, our schools and training institutions can be enhanced to meet the challenge of the 21st century.
Vakandeovosa also confirmed that Navuso Agriculture School in Nosori will be phased out from next year.
From 3 next year until 2017, when there will be no more high school, and our agricultural college will eventually take over and move forward into process.
Most of the land owned by the church remains idle and undeveloped, and the church has plans to develop the land for the benefit of the church members and the community. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Meanwhile, FBC News reported last Wednesday that the Methodist Church had defended a former president who called upon the conference delegates to put God first instead of putting something else first, as in Fiji first. Reverend Tomasi Kanailangi's comments did not refer to the political party, and neither has the church defended his comments as we had reported. Still to come on FBC News, more Fijians to undergo life-saving heart surgery from New Zealand surgeons.
How are you doing, Fiji? Yes, indeed, fast approaching, well, the major bulletin. But before we even talk about the major bulletin, what about my little news flash?
Oh my gosh, please don't let him get me started on that again.
Getting on the bus yesterday, and then he tells me, brother, move on to the other seat, because we can fit 2 people where you're sitting.
Hey, you can't blame the dude for being honest, okay?
There was nothing honest about what he said. Hi, I'm Pivil.
And I'm Fina.
Your daybreak duo on Gold FM. From Mondays to Fridays.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Turn us on.
Nisambula, oyo Mr. Ben. Kelapa. Nama kikira ne vima taka mundi tikira vorumbu kama na ono keneliwa Enabula FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. A team of 15 Japanese engineers have started a 2-year study of the Nandi River Basin. The project hopes to find a solution to Nandi's flood problems and is funded by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, also known as JICA. Christopher Chand reports.
Nandi is the 3rd largest town in the country, but is the worst affected during natural disasters. Floods in recent years have become more frequent and more destructive. The government has asked for assistance from Japan to carry out an assessment on what could be a long-term solution.
It's a study is being conducted by JICA. It's aimed at to find the best control structures needed to reduce the impact of flooding in Nandi. The team of experts from Japan are currently working in Nandi Basin.
And although JICA has not revealed the amount of funding that is going into this project, the study will be comprehensive. The team started their groundwork earlier this month, beginning with basic data collection of rainfall, river flow and tidal data.
Those studies are really, those studies and the recommendation implemented will definitely be of advantage to Nandi town.
In another 21 months, the team will conclude their study and return to Japan, where they will spend 3 months completing the report.
The control structures and the control methods would be submitted to the government, which way to go and who is going to do it. But the study is under the Japanese government funded, is a Japanese government funded project.
The study is expected to be released towards the end of 2016. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
We now go live to our West office and join Christopher Chand in Nandi. Chris, wasn't there a similar study done in 1998?
Yes, Jackie, you are right. There was a study done 16 years ago by JICA. In that report, they had suggested the construction of a diversion canal for the Nandi River from near Sonaka village to Wailoloa Beach to help mitigate floods. But that report was done years ago, with many developments now taking shape. This team will conduct a new study and is also expected to look at the recommendations from the 1998 report to see what is the best solution for Nandi.
Thanks for the update, Chris. More Fijians are expected to undergo life-saving heart surgery by a specialist team from New Zealand in the next 2 weeks. The team of 60 medical personnel is part of the Friends of Fiji Heart Foundation that has been saving Fijian lives for the last 8 years. Akusita Tale reports the surgeries at the Lautoka Hospital this year will focus more on children.
Thank you for welcoming us to the hospital.
The Friends of Fiji Heart Foundation, spearheaded by former Fijians, have been saving less fortunate lives in their former homeland for the last 8 years. However, this year, the team consisting of surgeons, cardiologists, technicians, specialist theatre nurses and physiotherapists will attempt to save lives of more children than ever before.
We're very blessed that this year we've got a paediatric team, so we're managing to work on our children as well, which is really, really important. There's nothing more, I guess, heartbreaking for us when we see the adult the surgeons who can't perform on the children and they're turned away. So here we've got a paediatric team, so it is a larger team because of that.
Although the Lautoka Hospital is currently undergoing refurbishment and renovations to its facilities, the team of Good Samaritans remain focused on the life-saving work ahead.
There is refurbishment work which has limited the recovery ward space, but in saying that, it still allows us, if we can make one operation, we've made one person's life different. And so the team is pretty much galvanized and just doing what they can within the constraints and the limits of what's available.
The foundation says it doesn't have any problems attracting volunteers who want to give seriously ill Fijians a second chance at life. The mission, which is facilitated through a memorandum of understanding between the foundation and the Fijian Health Ministry, is expected to increase its work in Fiji to twice a year from 2015. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The Hilton inaugural art exhibition was launched last night. It aims to raise funds for the audiology unit for the Hilton organization. This unit will provide hearing testing for infants and children, as well as speech therapy. The art exhibition features the paintings of many local artists. They will donate 20% of their selling price to the Hilton organization. Many have also offered to donate their work for auction, the proceeds of which will also go to the cause. The first audiology and speech therapy unit in Fiji is expected to be established by early next year.
This is a most welcome initiative, which I have every confidence will be supported by government as part of the ongoing efforts to raise the standard of services and care provided to all the people in Fiji, irrespective of our socio-economic background or ability.
The Hilton organization currently caters for over 130 children. And on that note, we join Jamie now with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Jackie. Coming up, Vodafone Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan drops a bombshell at the naming of his 30-member squad this afternoon. Details on that after the break. And we have the latest results from the finals of the Tuckers Secondary Schools Basketball Championships. Stay with us.
मेरा चांद मुझे आया है नजर ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर छाया है नशा मेरे आंखों पर ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर रह जाए ना प्यासा मेरा प्यार मेरे बाहों में भर दे मेरा यार ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर हाय मिर्ची एफएम पर मैं हूं जितेन शांडिल शामिल हो जाएगा हमारे साथ टुनाइट शो में Monday to Friday from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. Mirchi FM. It's
So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick, and plus I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulunaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7, right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. Vodafone Fiji 7's no-nonsense coach Ben Ryan has dropped 2 players from last season's squad for missing out on the fitness test earlier this week. The 30-member squad will march into camp next week in preparation for the IRB World Series. Talendada Kadaka has more.
Hard-running hooker Leone Kasau and speedster Choeli Lutumailangi are the 2 casualties from the 30-man squad that was released this afternoon. The national coach says the 2 gave him no option but to omit their names.
So Joeli and Leo unfortunately didn't come down to fitness testing, and we made every effort to communicate with them. And Joeli rang me this morning, to be fair to him, but neither really had an excuse. So with the competition as it is, and they know I'm strict and keep to my word on things. They weren't here, so we can't bring them into camp next week.
Notable inclusions in the squad are former reps Nasoni Rocco, Ilai Tinai, Aisake Katonembau and Sikeli Buruna, who Ryan will be monitoring over the next 2 weeks.
Nasoni's been out for a while from national duty, but has been playing very well for Natisari. We had a conversation a while ago, and I was pretty sure after that he's keen to give it a crack, and I thought he's been playing well. I'm looking at him more as a hooker, but could play everywhere else, and he gives 100%, so he'll drive the intensity at training as well. Eli, he was out all last year really from my thinking and squad. He's certainly nowhere near fit enough at the moment, so he's got a real challenge to get himself anywhere near the squad.
The squad marches into camp over the next 2 weeks before Ryan ships them to Ovalau for a 7th tournament. After this, Ryan will name his squad for the Oceania Sevens as well as the Gold Coast tournament in Australia. Talendo Kavak, FBC Sports.
The finals of the Tuckers Secondary School's basketball competition have come to an end in Suva. In the under-19 grade, John Wesley defeated Natambua 21-17 to win the boys' title, while Yetsen defeated St. Joseph's Secondary School 31-28 to win the girls' title. The under-17 grade was won by Marist and St. Joseph respectively. LDS beat Yetsen in the under-15 boys, while Suva Grammar took out the under-15 girls' title. Meanwhile, new schools in this year's championships have taken the organizers by surprise. A majority of them from the Western Division brought their best for the 4-day tournament. Josephine Navula has more.
Performances from players of various schools have improved over the years, says Basketball Fiji. With the tough competition seen in the past 4 days, organizers are delighted to see new talent unearthed.
We're seeing different levels of talent coming through, and some are really high and some obviously because they're new, it's just starting from grassroots levels, but it's really exciting.
The new schools in turn heads in the competition.
We have a lot of schools who have been surprising us lately, and we're so excited about it. Just in particular, Jane Ryan and the teams from the West, like Natambua and Jasper Williams. They've been coming here, and we never expected anything, but what they've shown us is beyond anybody's expectations. And right now, their skill level is really good. I mean, compared to what it was before, what we thought that it would be.
Making their appearances for only the second time, Jane Ryan College of Suva hopes to expose more of their students to the sport.
Coming this far, being an academically oriented school, they've moved away from academically, not because of just to expose the players on basketball.
The focus now shifts to the Oceania Under-19 Championships to be held in Suva in December. And then again, most of these players will be in action, but this time for their nation. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
The quarterfinals of the Vodafone Cup Rugby League Top 8 competition will be played this weekend. The Nambo Broncos will take on the Makoi Bulldogs, while the Nandera Panthers meet the impressive Mburenitu Cowboys. Following the relegation of Top-Line Warriors and Police Sharks to the Premier Grade next year, the challenge now lies for Premier Grade teams to compete for the 2 top 8 spots.
This week there will be 8 quarterfinals. There's one competition tomorrow in Lawanga. The next one will be in Ra, in Ragraki, and the third one will be here in Suva on Saturday. If you can see, there's 3 new teams in these years that come through from the new teams that joined the competition this year. One team is Nakanadang from Riketi in Maduata. The other team is Raiwanga. And the team that from up in Navosa. They're the three teams that come through, three new teams that come through this year's quarterfinals for looking for the position in the top 8 next year.
Suva's ANZ Stadium is set to host the last round of the Ink Mobile Battle of the Giants football tournament this weekend. With 2 final days of action to go before a winner is crowned, the nation's best sporting facility and its staff are also working on final touches to the venue. Indra Singh has more.
The second round action shifts to this venue, which will see the 4 remaining teams trying to win the 2014 BOG crown, and they can be assured of the best playing surface in their quest.
Although we've just had a few consistently throughout the month, but we've managed to keep the ground as level as possible and the green as well. So the ground right now is just right for this type of event, especially with BOG.
Coupled with this, the council is also anticipating a big turnout at the venue as the host Suva will be featuring in the semi-finals.
And with Suva being in the semi-finals, the expected crowd here would be exceeding 8,000. So we're expecting a full house this weekend.
Meanwhile, Fiji Football says the 4 teams should put on a show that fans want to watch.
You've seen the league teams, how they're performing, the districts and everyone. And it is very competitive. You can't underestimate any team when it comes for tournament.
And Patel has reiterated that 90-minute football is here to stay as they try to match the standards set abroad.
And plus this 90-minute football, I think so it's giving them a chance for teams to come back and score or draw the game or win in the last minute. And this has been happening in league, and I believe this will be the same thing in Battle of Giants, where the teams will get their chance to equalize or win the game in the last minute. Teams have to be prepared and fit for 90 minutes.
So the ground is ready for the last 4 matches, and so should be the teams. All that is left is the action on the pitch and the intense competition between Suva, Rewa, Ba and Lautoka. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Fijians Osea Vakhtalisau and Amani Makoe have signed with Vanuatu football club Amical. Makoe joins from Nandi, and Vakhtalisau, who plays from Ba, will add thrust to the Amical strike force. Amical club president Andrew Leong says the two will boost the club in its quest for the OFC Champions League next season, along with other competitions. Makoe scored the winning goal for Nandi against Suva in the Fiji Fact final in June, while Vakhtalisau has been recovering from an injury sustained during the OFC Champions League in April. Other Fijians in the Amical side include Esawa Nangeleda and Ilaitia Tuilau. That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
8 new companies today were awarded certificates under the Fijian-made brands. A brief study of 21 companies by the Ministry of Industry and Trade shows there has been an increase in investments, staff, an increase in local sales, and new markets have been created since the rebranding. Rashika Kumar has the details.
The campaign has been refocused to include the micro and small business. Permanent Secretary for Trade and Investment, Shaheen Ali, says this campaign has given the Fijian arts and crafts a platform for recognition.
The Fijian crafted logo, accorded to licensed artisans, has provided the much-needed leverage to market and also identify their arts as authentic Fijian crafts.
Minister for Industry and Trade, Ayaset Kayum, says all business have gone through a rigorous test before being certified.
We must always ensure that whatever products we make, whether we're carving out a small turtle, whether we're making car batteries, whether we're making any hardware, that the quality must always remain.
Punjas Flour Limited has invested $25 million in their brand of biscuit and believes this certification will greatly benefit them.
This is a very important certificate for us, and this is Punjas Flour, and it's one of our products is coming out very soon. This is the Punjas biscuits. Now in Fiji there are 2 other companies which has been making biscuits.
A total of 193 companies and 1,000 products have so far been branded. The ministry will be developing audit processes and standards to maintain the integrity of the Fijian-made brand. Rashika Kumar, FBC News.
Fine weather was experienced over most places today. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over Tuvalu and extends southeastwards over Tokelau and Northern Cook Islands. Lautoka, Ba and Mombasa was on a high of 30 degrees on our temperature chart today. Savo recorded the lowest temperature for the day, hitting 26 degrees. Tomorrow, fine weather should prevail over all centres, with a few cloudy periods to be expected in Suva and Savo by the afternoon. Further outlook, fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, cool at night. Recapping our top stories tonight, prolonged dry spell prompts warning from authorities on potential El Nino. Pre-polling to start next week and will carry on for 2 weeks, and One Fiji Party wants complete overhaul of education system. Now time for the Fijian Speak segment.
Just about the indigenous on the bills they've been out for the constitution.
I hope that all citizens of this country will be well looked after. Those without employment find one, and those who lead the nation do so with honesty and transparency.
I want politicians that will lead this nation with transparency and honesty, and that they take the issue of education seriously.
Meanwhile, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And to receive the latest headlines on your mobile phone, text subspace FBC to 777. That's your news for tonight. Join us again tomorrow. Good evening.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर आपका स्वागत है बच्चों की दुनिया में। हमेशा की तरह आज भी हम आपके लिए कहानियाँ और कविताएं लेकर आए हैं और बच्चों आप हमें कॉल भी कर सकते हैं। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर मंडे टू फ्राइडे 3 से लेकर 4 बजे तक बच्चों की दुनिया में और 4 से लेकर 7 बजे तक मस्तानी शाम के सफर में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।